So I had to make this quick video highlighting the hypocrisy of Rami Salaam as it pertains to the topics of Moors having the right to bear arms, or if Moors should bear arms, and also his hypocrisy of slandering Brother Jamal and his Rise of the Moors organization. So let's roll the footage.
Should Moorish Americans be bearing arms, having weapons and guns? No. Emphatically, no.
A few moments later.
I was thinking like, all right, what are Moors doing about it? Do we have, for example, do we have a Moorish security company?
Boy, if you don't get
Where, we have Moorish brothers and sisters, they'll go out into a whole entire community and they'll protect and serve. There'll be peace officers. Do we have a Moorish peace officer organization?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
We can send our brothers and sisters out and they can help protect and serve our community.
Rise of the Moors.
So we don't have to depend on the police. We don't have to call the police for anything. We can have, do Moors have that?
Rise of the Moors.
What else did I put up? Do we have, do Moors have a Moorish legal or law organization, legal company established?
Rise of the Moors.
That we're able to provide representation to our brothers and sisters that have been violated, terrorized, or murdered by the police. Do we have that established? Moors, do we got? And let me just address the typical rebuttal, okay? The Second Amendment. We have the right to bear arms. Just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean that you should and you're required or it's mandatory that you use that right. Let me explain. Miranda rights.
Pause. Let me stop you right there. Okay. There is no Miranda rights. Okay, if you read the case law, it's not a right that you have. It's a Miranda warning. But the right to remain silent comes under the Fifth Amendment and the right against self-incrimination. So that's where the right to remain silent really stems from. And you would know that if you knew law, but I guess they're not teaching law in the Moorish Science Tip of America that you go to, correct? But let's continue to this dumbass rebuttal.
You had a right to remain silent. Especially the Moorish brothers out there. You get accused by a woman you've never seen, never met, never spoke to, never talked to in your life. You get accused by her that you raped her. You got the right to remain silent. Are you going to say that you're innocent? Are you going to proclaim your innocence? You got the right to remain silent, right? 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 Just because you had a right doesn't mean you're required to use it. It's fair, right? And let me do you one better, though. This is how amazing a lie is. In our Quran, chapter 43, the insufficiency of knowledge, holy instructions from the prophet, it says, if thou art suspected, answer with freedom. Whom should suspicion affright except the guilty? Now, yes, we have the right to remain silent, but our divine teaching says you're suspected of something, answer with freedom, especially if you're not guilty of it. Just because we had a right doesn't mean we're required, it's mandatory that we use it all the time. Likewise, just because we have the right to bear arms doesn't mean we're required or it's mandatory for us to use it. And specifically for Moorish Americans,
So here's a rebuttal to that dumbass rebuttal, right? Okay, let's say it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You hear a loud banging in the house and somebody has broken into your house. So the children are still asleep and you get up to see what the commotion is, right? And it's somebody who has a gun and you don't, because you believe Moors shouldn't have guns, right? So who's going to win that battle when you two face off? More than likely, a person with a gun. So here's where rights to bear arms come into play. You don't have to walk around every day brandishing and showing your gun off to everybody, but you can use that right to defend yourself against someone else who has the same power or level of weapon that you have. So let's say a knife with a knife, fist with fist, a gun with a gun. That's common sense. So Noble Drew Ali isn't telling anyone to get rid of their common sense. He may have stated something in the context that he stated, but none of us know the context of which he stated to don't even carry around a pocket knife. We don't know what context he was speaking in. We just have hearsay of what someone said Noble Drew Ali said.